These are the biggest hidden risks in property management. One of the things that doesn't get talked about enough in property management is risk. When people think about property management, they're usually thinking about maintenance costs, collecting rent, answering tenant phone calls, leasing up units. But one of the biggest responsibilities of management is to actually protect the property from operational risk. What that means is poor management doesn't just create inconvenience. It can create very expensive problems over time. My name is Kevin Dugan. I'm an investor, operator, and managing principal of Altus Property Partners. One of the most common risk factors in property management often involves vendor oversight. When you're doing it yourself, or when a management company doesn't have good reins on construction and management, that means the plumbers can overcharge. They can often bid jobs that aren't actually accurate. Electrical work can be neglected, and small wiring problems become bigger. Capital improvement projects, roofing budgets get out of control. HVAC systems and heating and air conditioning get misdiagnosed all the time, where the vendor will come in and say you need to replace major mechanical components instead of just cleaning off a flame sensor or cleaning out the filter system. Landscaping, if you're not watching those contracts, all of a sudden the job's not getting done, and the same with snow removal. So if those vendors aren't managed properly and those relationships aren't monitored, things can happen such as being overcharged, incomplete work, poor craftsmanship, and even safety risks. So when it comes to great management, it often comes down to building and fostering long-term relationships, vetting those vendors, reviewing the proposals, and then of course monitoring the work to make sure the quality is done the right way, at the right time, on budget. The next risk is documentation. This may seem small, but many owners and decision makers don't realize that when you don't have proper documentation, that means what's going on with the building, what types of violations are in place, potential risks for violations, that documentation actually can be a critical misstep for records of maintenance not being maintained, vendors not being held to their contracts, tenants claiming that work hasn't been done. The city at times can come in and issue violations where if you haven't documented all the steps accurately, it leaves you up for risk. And when risk compounds on a property, especially if you're not maintaining it the right way, that's where small problems can become big issues that potentially have legalities behind it. When something goes wrong, having the clear records, having the documentation, as well as the communication helps protect the property, the owners, the boards, and the leadership team. Without documentation, it's incredibly difficult to understand the chain of orders that actually happen. All right, the next risk I want to bring up is emergency response risk. So when you have a bad management company who does not have the bandwidth to actually respond to emergencies, that's water leaks, sewer backups, storm damage, electrical failures, gas leaks, personal injury to residents, all of those emergency situations, the speed of response and coordination to stop the damage from occurring further really matters. Every minute counts. Our philosophy is we want to resolve an emergency situation in 15 minutes or less, and then handle the repairs during regular hours. Because the reality is emergencies never happen at convenient times, and you need to have the bandwidth to be reactive in that situation and handle it effectively. So best-in-class managements have a system for handling emergencies as fast as possible, and then communicating that to the leadership, to the stakeholders to make sure everybody's on the same page. If you don't have systems for small emergencies, they can become incredibly expensive. They could open you up to legal fiduciary responsibilities. And the last thing you want to deal with is an emergency plus all the ripple effect ramifications afterwards. When it comes to associations, something that's understated is boards being burned out, the leadership. Oftentimes, when a property management company isn't doing their job, that means that the workload is put back on the owner, is placed back on the board of directors. And the board of directors and associations, you guys have your life, your volunteers, you have your family, your other responsibilities. So us as a management company, when you identify a bad management company, oftentimes they're just not doing their job. They may not be handling all the day-to-day activities. Owners may be complaining to you about poor services, lack of ownership of the community, and that can lead to heavy frustration, fear of being blamed for the lack of change, and ultimately that burden should fall on the management company. The last risk that often comes up is going to be financial risk due to long-term neglect. What that essentially means is when you're not handling the regular and planned construction projects, when you let the roof degrade, when the siding and tuck pointing starts to fall off, when concrete is broken in the sidewalks, all of those are risk factors. And best-in-class management such as ours is helping you plan for the future so that you're saving enough money. And when you save enough money, you can handle those projects without tapping into the savings. So keeping this in mind, properties are always going to age. Sometimes they wear and tear differently based on how they were constructed, but our job is to help you realize what is to come in the future. So capital improvement projects are necessary. You need to be saving money every single month in anticipation of handling those repairs at some point. Because the worst thing is, hey, you didn't repair a concrete that was broken in the street, somebody slips and falls, all of a sudden they sue you. Or, hey, we know that the tree roots on this property are impacting the sewer lines, we keep routing them out. Next thing, there's a backup in the rest of the units, and a residence has a flood of sewer water in their property, and now you have to go through insurance and handle that response and reaction. So us as a management company, we're looking to make sure we can guide you through this process. When it comes to property management that's doing an exceptional job, our goal is to help reduce operational risk across the entire property. From vendor oversight to emergency response to documentation and long-term planning, those are all attributes and management systems that great professional management companies must ultimately perfect. We're here to protect your property. We're here to support the communities. And these are just a couple pointers from me, Kevin Dugan of Altus Property Partners. Thank you very much.